welcome to Forza Rewind Episode 3. We have one of the most forgotten cars in Forza history. Today, we're off to Forza Horizon 3. This is the Rolls-Royce Wraith, and this is the Rolls-Royce Dawn. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why these things were so special. This wouldn't be an AR-12 video without any fun facts about why am I driving a convertible Rolls-Royce in the rain? We'll come to the Rolls-Royce Wraith in a moment. Rolls-Royce was actually featured in Forza starting back in Forza Motorsport 5. I have a close personal connection with this car, but not in the way that you'd expect. Ever since Rolls-Royce has been a company, they've been a very, let's call them old-fashioned. In the mid-2000s, Rolls-Royce had a change of heart. Rolls-Royce was like, hey, we should start marketing our cars towards younger people. They started throwing their cars into video games, starting back with Forza Motorsport 5, then 6, 7 had a Rolls-Royce. You want to know the craziest part, though? All of that, I don't want to say all of that, but a lot of that was because of my cousin. My cousin worked for Rolls-Royce in the marketing department, and his task was to market Rolls-Royces to younger people. He was one of the people who had a hand in getting them into video games. I remember my cousin actually telling me a story of back in the day, a little unknown YouTuber back in the day. You might have heard of him, named Shmee. Emailed him saying, hello, could I review one of your Rolls Royces? Anyways, because it was Rolls Royce and they're very expensive, unfortunately, you don't actually get a company car very often. But they are owned by BMW. So my cousin in the UK had one of the first BMW i3s, which I made fun of him a lot for. There's a fun fact for you. I guarantee you didn't know. My cousin, unfortunately, doesn't work at Rolls Royce anymore. It's a very cool story, if I'm honest. You're probably wondering about this. This is the Rolls-Royce Wraith. It's essentially based off a Rolls-Royce Ghost. Sorry, I meant Dawn. Anyways, in the mid-2010s, Rolls-Royce was like, we can't just keep making the Phantom. So that's when they came out with the Rolls-Royce Dawn and the Rolls-Royce Wraith, in addition to like the Ghost and the Phantom and those sorts of things. Unfortunately, between 2022 and 2023, Rolls-Royce killed off both the Dawn and the Wraith. And that is a massive disappointment. Oh. And if you ever wondered why Rolls-Royce isn't in video games anymore, that's probably one of the reasons. Again, this is a targeted attack. The same thing last week that I said about the McLaren Mercedes SLR. Anybody who gives you a straight up reason as to exactly why these cars aren't in video games nowadays is straight up lying. Nobody knows the actual answer. However, as the rumor goes, apparently some big bosses over Rolls-Royce wasn't the biggest fan of people crashing into things with them and painting them bright pink. Anyways, let's see what customization we can do to this thing. Bone stock, we've actually already got a big old V12 with 560 horsepower. We can make it all-wheel drive if we want. I feel like that's kind of a waste. No engine swaps available for the Dawn. How about some front aero, though? Maybe I turn it into a race car. Let's go for some slick, or I guess some race tires, as they were called in this game. Upgrade the front tires to 305. Upgrade the rears to 335. Gonna be a very fast Rolls-Royce, but it might not be the best to drive. Oh, what's a roll cage look like? Okay, the roll cage is kind of sick, but it also kind of... I'm gonna do it. All right, then let's just give it a little bit extra horsepower and see where we are. This is like Simon Cowell's first racing car. Bro, imagine if somebody actually turned up to a racetrack with a Rolls Royce that looked like this. We have 900 horsepower. We weigh 4,000 pounds. Oh, this is certainly one of the cars of all time. Anyways, as I usually do before I make these sorts of videos, I always go in and sort of like research the cars and stuff like that. And I usually try to find them for sale and see what they're going for nowadays. One of these is still absurdly expensive. The way the rule works for like car depreciation, the fancier and more luxurious a car is, the faster it will depreciate. I was blown away when I looked these things up for sale, because here in Canada, they still cost like 350 to 400,000 bucks. I know new these things were like, I don't know, I think 600K or something absurd like that. Other luxury cars have tanked in comparison to one of these. On another note, it's also an incredible race car. I was not expecting this result. No! I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. Oh, no. Rolls-Royce Dawn, an incredible car. I hope it comes back to the game. I don't think I'm old enough yet to appreciate the Rolls-Royce Dawn. Rolls-Royce Wraith it is. I haven't yet reached midlife crisis levels just yet. This is the Rolls... forgot to go. This is the Rolls-Royce Wraith. Most Rolls-Royce... Actually, I think every Rolls-Royce uses a big old V12. This one... no different. It's got a monstrous V12 that puts out like 600 plus horsepower or something like that. It can do 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, making it the fastest Rolls-Royce ever made. Maybe. As it turns out, Rolls-Royce, back in the day when they were designing the Rolls-Royce Phantom, they initially designed the Phantom to have a V16 engine, a 9-liter V16. Rolls-Royce actually made a few of them. One of them was most famously used, yes, in Johnny English. People have asked Rolls-Royce, though, how much horsepower does it have? And they say, we're not telling you. But it's very possible that that V16 puts out enough horsepower, at least in theory, to make that Phantom the fastest Rolls-Royce ever made. If it's not, though, then the Wraith is faster. And that's not all that's quick about this thing, because in Forza Horizon 3, the Rolls-Royce Wraith was actually one of, if not the fastest off-road car in S1 class. It's not gonna be like the best of the best build because I need to make it. I do not remember what the OP Rolls-Royce was running, but I'm just gonna put things on and kind of hope for the best. Rally suspension, thank you. You're gonna have like no horsepower. Oh no! We only have 650 horsepower, but we should be able to send it through the corners now. Come on, big roller. I genuinely don't think this particular version is gonna be really fast. You'll need to take my word for it. Back in the day, the Rolls-Royce was like unstoppable at off-roading. I cannot find a good tune for it though, so I'm now having to use my own, which, as we know, is just going to be shocking. I really hope at one point in the future, Rolls-Royce, I went on the car video game database thing, and I was looking up when was the last time Rolls-Royce was in a racing game. Forza Motorsport 7. They have never officially been in another video game. There's a whole bunch of video games that have put in like Rolls-Royce sort of like clones. Like, for example, GTA 5 has a Rolls-Royce clone. It's not actually a Rolls-Royce. I want to be excited by Rolls-Royces, and the best way of doing that, toss them in a video game, but don't just throw them in a video game. Give me some of the old ones too. I want to experience some Rolls-Royce history. I've just noticed the mini-map. The AI is miles behind again. Okay, I'm not even going the right way. Yeah, look, there they are. They're all the way back there and across the line. We have one more build to do. Let's turn this thing into the ultimate Rolls-Royce drift car. Nobody's ever asked before. Actually, that's not true. Somebody did ask that question. In Forza Horizon 3, again, there's no drift suspension, so I think we're gonna do what I did last time and go for the rally spring and then try to get more steering angle that way. 923 horsepower Rolls-Royce. Sorry. If Rolls-Royce doesn't come back, you now know why. Am I adding fuel to the fire? Yes. Is it fun? Also, yes. I was never actually the biggest fan of drifting around this parking lot. Like, it's cool, and I think the developers should make more parking lots because it's fun to drive around in a big open area. It was never like my favorite place to drift. Like, the roads in FH2 were just straight up better to drift around than drifting around the parking lot. Also, this is really good at drifting. I remember back in the day, there used to be like all of these drift lines that people would run and like memorize. Wait, chat, why is my car not pink? Did Rolls-Royce hack my game so I can't paint my car pink? This is better. Rolls-Royce, we gotta pop a 360 into the drift zone. In this game, cars don't go ghost in drift zones, so you have to dodge them. Okay, send it in. 360. It was a bit early into the drift zone. I do apologize. Yeah, cars don't go ghost when you're in drift zones. You just need to dodge them. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, that's with quartz. Could have made an entire video on the quartz ring. Regalia. Jeez, bro. It's so cool. It's so over the top and so outrageous and just... It's not a motorsports car, but I think that's what makes it so special and so much fun to drive. 99.999% of people playing these games will never own a Rolls Royce. Most people won't even see a Rolls Royce, but the fact that we can do it in this game with them was so fun. I really hope one day they do decide to come back. Yes! I still got it, baby! We have one more episode of Forza Rewind. What cars should we do?